the next award we're going to give out is the Visionary Award. The Lifetime Visionary Award is for an individual who was ahead of his time, always thinking creatively, envisioning what the future holds, and came up with solutions that fit that picture. He was highly sensitive, made good predictions, and had a very imagination, strong convictions, and a sense of destiny. 46 years ago, Lieutenant Governor of the Windward Islands, Reinier O. van Delden, attentive to the needs of the people of St. Martin, contrary to the skeptics who thought at that time of his idea of creating a venue for St. Martin's talent and culture to be expressed being ungrounded, politely told them not to be short-sighted. Hence, he became eligible for the Lifetime Ambassador Award. His endeavors will be never forgotten. I would like to invite his son, Mr. Philip van Delden, to accept this Lifetime Award. Thank you, Mr. Van Delden. And the final award this evening we'd like to present, which is an Ambassador Award. It's for individual who was an official envoy appointed for a special and temporary diplomatic assignment by the highest ranking official of the state or territory, showed hard work, sincerity, dedication, carried out the mission and completed it with distinction and satisfaction to his country. 46 years ago, Mr. Jocelyn Arndale was sent on a diplomatic mission by Lieutenant Governor of the Windward Islands, Reinier O. van Delden, to research how Carnival was organized in St. Thomas. Jocelyn Arndale, hence, he became eligible for this Lifetime Award, Ambassador Award. His endeavors will never be forgotten. I would like to invite Mr. Jocelyn Arndale to accept this Lifetime Award. Okay, thank you, Mr. Arndale. Well, there's something that's not on the program, but I find it very fitting to do this evening, since we have someone like Jocelyn Arndale in our audience, and he has a wealth of history. I would like to invite him to the podium to come and reminisce a little bit with us on how things developed from 1970 and on forward. After Mr. Jocelyn is finished, I would also like to invite Mr. Glenn Romney, if he wishes, because he has an interesting story about some historical facts about Carnival to share with us as well, as certain things like who's the first prince and how his mother got involved in this, for example. So after Mr. Arndale, if he wishes, the podium will be free for him to come and say a few words. Mr. Arndale, please.
And thank you, Mr. York. I would like to give a very brief history of Carnival as far as I know it, and I've been involved. In 1970, we have consecutive years until now in which people consider Father 6 or Father 7 years of Carnival. But down in the 60s, people tried to organize themselves by means of little parades, 11th of November, 15th of December, the 30th of April, and so on. And it was kept then at where the present Carnival was Caribbean Lumber Ballpark. We had all the festivities kept there, and after that, it was on the Phillipsburg Square the route to plane. Van Delden, as was mentioned, he was then Lieutenant Governor in 1970, and after noticing the interest of people for these occasions, decided, okay, Justin, you want to go to St. Thomas with accompany Mr. Arnell and Mr. Dcomm, and you can see how Carnival is down there. And I gladly went, telling you the truth, and I picked up that there were little booths, not organized here and there, where people sold drinks and food and so on. So when I came back, I said, well, that's a very good idea. And I must say this because some people don't like to hear the fact, but Lexi Arnell was the president of the, what we call then the Oranje Committee, and he gave me leeway, free, do what you want, Jocelyn, as long as you don't get us in trouble. Those were his words. So we erected the Carnival, the festival village, as we call it then, next to Vatican, which is the space now. There's another business there, but on the right of Vatican is the library and the Sunday school. So we erected the festival village there. We put some coconut branches around, and we had over the entrance festival village. And as was mentioned, it was only 15 guilders to put a booth, and those people who were honored, and they were the pioneers, they came and said, oh, Johnson, I would like to put a booth. Of course, Mary Brooks and a few others, they knew that in St. Thomas there was a booth system. And we ran that there for quite some years until GB, who gave us free electricity at the time, we moved over to where the present Carnival village is, and Mr. Arnold Scott, peace to him, and another guy from Dominica by the name of Hazel, we went over there on a Good Friday, and we marked out 103 spaces for booths, the same size of what we had in the festival village. And GB then said, well, you know, we will give the crown, but of course, we have to get the work done, so we have to pay the mint, put the post, and so on, and we'll ask a deposit of 20,000 guilders. Because of that, the fee for the booths went up to 50 guilders, so we could get the money to deposit to GB, and that's what we did. And from then on, it started growing from 50 guilders, 100 guilders, etc. And the booths today, as far as I was told, is a very observant price, even though it's of a permanent nature. I don't know if anybody would agree with me, but the ambience now is different to the ambience then, because you had a billiard booth, you had to break it down. It was 24 hours festival in the village. The sun would rise and people would still be there, and there was no police station. There was no there was no security guards, etc. People actually lived there for the 2 weeks that it was set for. And I must say this, I have to congratulate the persons who are now carrying out the Carnival. They have been doing a very good job so far, and as long as the people enjoy it, it is well taken. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arndell, for taking us on a memory lane. Not a memory lane. I wasn't around then, so I was still in a dream world. But I'd like to go over back to the awards. To the Pioneer Award. The Lifetime Pioneer Award is, like we mentioned before, is for individuals who were the first to enter a settled area, thus opening it for occupation and development by others. Mr. and Mrs. Louis Sinclair Blyden was one of the original group of 8 foot soldiers who detailed, made inroads and dug entrenchments, etc., and erected a booth in Carnival Village in advancement of St. Martin Carnival. 46 years ago, Mr. Louis Sinclair Blyden and Mr. and Mrs. Louis Sinclair Blyden showed hard work, sincerity, and dedication towards Carnival. Hence, they became eligible for this Lifetime Pioneer Award. Their endeavors will never be forgotten. Therefore, I would like to invite their son, Mr. Sinclair Bladen, to accept this award on their behalf. Okay, thank you, Mr. Blyden. I don't know if Mr. Romney has gotten the courage to come up and share with his historical experiences with Carnival. So please join me in giving a round of applause to Mr. Romney.
I'd like to say good evening to each and every one of you and welcome. I'd also like to thank Minister of Education, Sports and Culture for this gesture, and the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports Affairs. Well, I didn't really want to say anything today because I'm sort of retreating, as it were, because I don't want to be talking too much these days, but I will still share some words with you. Again, thanks for recognizing my mother and with this award. And I'm sure she's smiling because when she realizes and see that she done something well and she gets award for it, not even though she didn't get an award, you know, you tell her it was great, she would always give you a big smile, and I can see her face at this moment. And I also like to welcome my son over there. That's her grandson, Ajamo Bailey, and her great-grandchildren and daughter-in-law. For a little bit of the history about myself, I was involved with Carnival with my mother. She was the pioneer of bringing the majorettes to St. Martin from St. Thomas. I don't know if many of you who here might remember that. I'm trying to hold back tears here. I'm the crying man, but because it's sort of emotional, trying to remember her at this time. Like I said, she was a pioneer for the majorettes, and I remember her for that very much. I was very active with her. She would have me there, the girls, the young girls come around to spin the baton, if you know what the majorette's all about, and I'll be there seeing them practice. And in those days, it was not this fancy material to use for carnival decorations. We would use cardboard. We would take them, and then we would have to paint them and spray paint them and stuff like that, so it was very active in helping her to do that. She also, you know, like forced me, as it were. Not really forced, because I love music too, and she would tell me, come on, you have to sing, and she would put me on a stage at Carnival for Queen's birthday. Got up there and sing Sparrow Song, you know, Sasaye, you know, with Claudia LaBega and my brother, Danny, you know, so we would get there and we would sing. Jocelyn can remember that vividly. And then from there on, Jocelyn saw me as an MC. And so when he had a carnival over at the Phillipsburg here next to 4S Supermarket, as it was at that time, he would ask me to do the MCing. So I was one of the official MCs for Carnival back in those days. But prior to that, I was the first prince for Carnival in St. Martin. So Humphrey, I know him as Humphrey from down the street. He was the Pancho, so both of us there. I have a picture of that. I wanted to bring it today, but I didn't get a chance to bring it, so I'll probably show it to the culture department some other time. So that's basically how it went with Carnival for us. And then from there on, I got involved in presenting Carnival troops myself. I don't know if you all would remember. I did Carnival troop tribute to Mandela in 1990. And also, And then I brought a troupe, We Are Africans. I don't know if you remember that. You know, as black people in the regions, I said, we are Africans, so I decided to present that. And then one of the other things for Carnival was, as a promoter, I was the first one to actually put international shows in the Carnival Village. I was invited by Michael Ferrier to do that. And I started to bring international shows because he said to me, hey, you're drawing big crowds, why don't you come to Carnival and bring those crowds? So I said, well, okay, I'll give it a try. So it started that way. And today I will say, as being one of the first persons to bring international shows into the Carnival, attracting shows, I said it on radio before, and I will want to say it here again, seeing that Carnival is a cultural expression of a people. I think those shows now should come out of Carnival and let the local shows take Carnival over and bring it back to the expression of the culture of the people of St. Martin, and let's have a music festival some other time in the year. So that will be an additional income for the island. So we'll have 2 festivals, as it were. I thank you very much. God bless you.
I wasn't supposed to come back here. And the program getting longer and longer, so I won't say much, but I thought it was important in giving out the awards to allow, especially Mr. Arndell, to speak. And sitting there and listening to both Mr. Arndell and Mr. Cool, it's a history lesson. And so I'm whispering to Neville now, we need to make sure get pictures of all these people and create a booklet. And so there's more work going to be done. And I would like to thank you all for being here to accept this honor that was late bestowed, but still they always say better late than never. And once we have an offspring, they can still enjoy the fruits of their ancestors' labor. And so we will endeavor to continue yearly to honor our pioneers. And so, Mr. Cool, I would need you to visit the culture department and give some more of them history lessons, so we don't have to go too far to dig for them, because this history is in people's heads, and so when they die, we don't have them anymore. And we are really trying our best to record and put these memories down so that those to come will always know. So thank you all once more, and thanks to the culture department, of course, for getting it done.
Thank you. Mr. Cool, thank you very much for sharing your experiences and bringing some things out. I don't know if you recognize me. I know you from a little boy in the community. I see you walking around, and I know he has a lot of things to say, and trying to find the right place and the right setting for him to do it is important, and I hope we can get you more involved. I know you're very much involved with Queen's Birthday, with organizing spoon, running with eggs and spoon, the greasy pole, and all of those things. So I have to find a way how to get you back involved if you accept the invitation, of course.
This is crazy! They're leaving you. I ain't going home tonight. I'm petting till morning light. So don't try and stop me. I come out to mash up the party. Mash up the party. Give me more, I want it, I like it.
Start to roll on top of my bed and I felt in good. Hit me girl on top, she head, tell she move, she foot. Tell the girl I want some rum, she must bring it fast. When it reach, I just take someone and break the glass. They send for the doctor, one doctor proud. Well, the doctor shout, nothing to alarm about. Poor me, they say I'm crazy. Simply because I'm happy. Don't know why they should say so. Quickly, somebody help me. Like a hurry, but now my head is bad. Guitar in hand and I down the road like a steering mad. I meet a girl in front, high low, well I grab she hand. I say, darling, let me wine as though inside a van. She say, Mr. Kitchener, I will predict. Well, you either sick or you were a lunatic. For me, they say I'm crazy. Should say so. Quickly, somebody help me.
I hope that our visitors would listen to this song carefully, because it's true. They trying their best to stop our progress with bad propaganda. I mean the foreign press. Bad things are blown out of proportion and spread all around. But the good things of the island they will never mention. Like our scholars I've sit and passed every test. There's nothing about that in the foreign press.